Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Menino and Nariman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hi, everybody. It's Michael Menino, and welcome to Driven, Unscripted Success podcast. Today on the podcast, we're interviewing professionals who share their experience with you, the audience, on how they got to where they're at today. And zooming from the beautiful island of Charleston, South Carolina, Steven Huskey. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for letting me on.
Hey, listen, thanks for being on the show. I really do appreciate it. We were talking off camera about what you do, and I got a list here that I'm not going to be able to talk about. So could you do me a favor and tell everybody what we talked about earlier, your profession, Sure. How long you've been in it, what you like doing, and obviously the church and guitar stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, Steven Huskey, I'm a certified financial planner and certified exit planner. I help busy business owners and professionals grow their business, protect their business, and one day exit their business on their terms without getting smoked in taxes. So a lot of planning goes into that, pairing them with professionals that can help them with their best interests, look at their goals, find ways to reduce friction among all those partners. And we manage assets for those folks. We also look at family planning as well for all of them. We do personal planning coordination because you got to find out what the end result looks like, what that income plan looks like after they're done working, and kind of back into the number of what that business needs to sell for and what they need to generate from that.
And I got a quick question for you before you finish up. I know a lot of doctors, and doctors aren't really good at planning for money.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
I got an uncle that needed it years ago. I wish I would have met you years ago. So I'm sorry. Go ahead with what else you do.
Yeah. So we're in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. I grew up there and been here in Charleston since 2007. Graduated from the College of Charleston. Go Cougars! Yeah. And I've got a wife of 9 years and 3 beautiful daughters, 7, 4, and 18 months. So not only am I trying to run 2 businesses and manage employees, but also, chase after my little ones and keep my wife happy along the way.
So you're not wearing too many hats, are you?
No, it's just one hat and it's huge.
That's awesome.
So
tell us a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day and what surprises you that come up in your day.
So I operate Huskey Financial, and we work with, I would say roughly about 100 clients right now, and trying to make sure all their service needs are met and keep up with them and be proactive in helping them out, answer any questions we can, and provide guidance along the way. A lot of business owners, pre-retirees, and medical professionals. Then I have a business partner in Blue Water Dental Advisors. That's a dental-specific planning brand where we're trying to be a little bit different. We have a niche. We want to help these dental practice owners realize the true value of their life's work in that business, give them some type of informal valuation. We are helping them with protecting that business value and its cash flow, looking at contingency plans, protecting that with the right levels of insurance and legal documentation. We look at employee benefits and employee retention programs. People don't like the term retention or golden handcuffs, but it is a deferred benefit that is very emotionally driven for that person. So it's not like sending your kids to college. If you stay with me for 10 years, I will provide $50,000 a year for 4 years if you stay with me. Or if they're looking to exit their business one day, a buyer wants to buy them for the amount of cash flow they generate. So in order to keep that cash flow generating at the same level or greater, you need to have those key employees stay on. And so you have to kind of lock them up to and through the transition period. So we're looking at that. We also help identify what exit strengths they have and also some areas that they need to fix before they start actually considering some buyers coming by. So we help them understand what the value of that looks like. And then, we're looking at personal planning. So I've got anywhere from 10 to 15 clients in the process at any given time. So I can't do it all myself. I've got joint work partners that I work with. I've got people with different specialties that come and help us out. And it is a lot. And I try to find ways to prospect and find new clients in that time frame, which is difficult because I'm so busy. And my kids do activities. There's gymnastics, cheer, there's dance, there's soccer, there's all kinds of stuff. So I'm always planning around. If it's not on my calendar, it just does not exist. It does not happen. So I'm very strict about that. I keep organized.
That's a good way to be. I'm the exact same way. And if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't get done.
Yeah, what makes me happy, to answer the last part of your question, is bringing true value to my clients and having them tell me like, "Hey, I feel like I'm in such a better position than had I met you. I'm so glad that we got together." But also like, making my kids happy, making my wife happy, spending time on the golf course. I like playing guitar at
Nice.
my church. We've joined a Lutheran church. I grew up Southern Baptist, hellfire and brimstone, but that didn't really jive with my personality. So my wife grew up Lutheran, so now we go to a Lutheran church here in Mount Pleasant.
What's the difference?
Well, Lutheran is a little bit removed from Catholicism, so it's not as strict. We're a little bit more open in who we allow into the church and who we allow to serve in positions of leadership. There's different branches of that type of Lutheran, like ECLA and PC and all those things. And then the Baptist thing is more that it's more fear driven than it is love driven, in my
Gotcha.
experience.
Gotcha. The Bible. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. I'm a Christian. I don't know what the differences are, and when I hear those, I was like, that's very interesting to me.
I mean, I enjoy it. I'm not only treasurer for a local nonprofit here in Charleston called Going Places, which I'd encourage everyone to look for. We donate bicycles and spread joy to underprivileged children in Title I schools across the state. But I'm also the treasurer for my church. So I don't know why I keep saying yes to these things, but I keep adding more to the plate. But I enjoy doing all of it.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I'm busier than I'm supposed to be. I know exactly how you feel. If someone wants to get better at what you do, what tips and tricks would you give them? What suggestions would you say?
For a layman or for someone in my position?
Your position, let's say career for now, because you do too much. Let's just talk about the career on this particular aspect.
I would, I started on my own. I had a little bit of guidance, but I built my practice from scratch, building relationships in town, shaking hands. My wife calls me the mayor of Charleston. I'm
Nice.
always connect. And my whole thing is I connect people with people, and I am always about giving more than you accept from others. So I want to give out, introductions to people if it will help them in some way. I don't need to be compensated for that, but my hope is that karma is real and it does come back around. I would encourage people to connect others with others. The second thing is identify who you really enjoy working with before you start going for all of these designations. I have alphabet soup after my name. I'm planning on adding more letters to my name eventually, but I promised my wife I wouldn't study for another 3 years. I feel like if you know the direction you want to go with your practice and those that you want to serve, get a designation that serves that target market. So, for instance, I really wanted to work with small business owners who were successful and wanted to exit. So I got there were two choices, the CEPA or the CEXP. I chose the CEXP because it was more rigorous, it was more time consuming, it was written by attorneys, and I really enjoyed the organization that gives out that designation, BEI. And I got my certified financial planner because I wanted to be very comprehensive in the way I approach planning, and so I have that designation too. So find one that suits your target market and go after that designation. Also, lastly is get your client base together, figure out and call them, say, hey, I want to meet more people just like you. I'd like to understand the organizations that you spend time with and that you're a part of and that you serve, and get 3 or 4 different hobbies and organizations that they're a part of. And then do that for, I'd say, your top 10 to 25 clients, and figure out the similarities between all those organizations and join those organizations and get in the room with them and talk with them. It's harder nowadays than it used to be to pick up a publication and read the same thing that these folks are talking to. But if you can't get in the room and discuss those items with them, it's kind of like a lost art. You're not able to like discuss your knowledge and become the authority in that market, and then they can see that you're the real deal and want to work with you. So I'd say join organizations, talk with them, find out what they're interested in, and start talking to them about those things.
Agreed. That's great advice. I like that. I know there's a lot of competition in what you do. What sets
Mhm.
you apart in your space, and what comes easy to you that comes harder to everybody else?
Great question. I've been told by multiple friends, even my wife, that I've never met a stranger. I can talk to anyone about anything. I'll find some common thread between us. I'll look at their outfit or what they're doing and talk to them about that. So I can talk to anyone. So that's good to be gregarious, I guess, in this
Hmm.
field and talk to people. What was the last part of that?
What comes easy to you that comes
Oh,
challenging to other people?
I guess if you're an introvert, this field would be very difficult. But being an extrovert, it is nice. Another thing that comes easy is listening.
Hmm.
I can listen pretty well. My wife might tell you different, but I listen to people pretty well, and I before I speak, I want to know as much information as I can get. I don't ever tell people that I'm a financial advisor because if I'm at a party and I say that, then they're like, "Oh, I got my Edward Jones guy," or they turn around and walk the other way, right? But if I listen to them and they're a business owner or they're a W-2 employee at a tech company, I ask enough questions to where when they ask me what do I do, I tailor my response to based on what they told me was
Ooh, that's good advice right there. I like that.
important to them. Yeah. So if they say, I've got a business, I've got 10 employees, I'm struggling to get this thing growing or scaling and all of that, and I ask more questions, and they'll say, well, what do you do? Well, I'm actually an exit planner, and I help business owners grow, scale, protect, and exit their businesses. And I think that based on our conversation, I can certainly help you. Let's grab, a Zoom call or a coffee sometime. It's a lot easier to get a meeting with someone if you're very poignant in how you respond. So
Agreed.
something that is difficult, I would say. I still don't like picking up the phone. Like I don't have call reluctance necessarily, but I've did it for so long and I've been rejected so many times. It's the head trash that says this person doesn't want to be bothered or, this person doesn't need your help. But we do very good work. And I just need to tell myself I'm calling to help this person with something they know is an issue or may not know yet, but you're going to save them from that issue in the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. I like that a lot. That's
Thank
great
you.
advice.
Thanks.
So, what is one of the biggest challenges you had to overcome in your career?
Hmm. I would say the first 2 to 3 years in this business is lonely because you're reaching out to people that you already know and have relationships with, and they know that you're early into this business and they might not want to deal with you yet. You're not seasoned enough. So I did have to go out and make brand new relationships all over again to tell people that I knew what I was doing. I had a team behind me. It wasn't just me. So that was rather difficult the first couple of years. And I went from a pretty cush private wealth bank job to starting over and you know making over six figures to making $30,000 in my first year supporting a wife and a brand new baby. So that was hard. I mean, my wife and I had hard conversations. I let her take over the finances because I was out every night gallivanting and building relationships. And so marriage is it's great from a relationship perspective, but you have to have a very supportive partner who understands you're building this thing from scratch and they need to be there to take over the slack. It's not always 50-50 in a relationship. Sometimes it's 70-30, sometimes it's 60-40, but you got to know when to give and take. So being able to discuss those things with your partners ahead of time, I think would be really a difficult conversation, but it's enlightening.
I agree. So I like what you said about your wife and this one guy. I follow, the guys that are better than us. Warren Buffett said this. He goes, your number one indicator of success is the first partner you get, and it's your wife or husband. And I go, he is so right. I mean,
So
so
right.
right on that. Do you
Absolutely.
agree?
I would totally agree. I used to work a lot longer hours than I do now. I probably work 35 hours a week. I used to work 60 or more. And my wife is a paralegal, so she has times where there's not a lot of cases going on. Then she's got times when she's got three or four ramping up all at the same time. And so we have to be able to give and take and schedule picking up the kids and taking them to their things and, leaving early and coming back late. So we have to be very on top of communication about our schedules and, what we have going on that week and then asking for them to do a little more this week or I'll take over because I realize you've done a lot. Let's share in this in this scheduling nightmare sometimes, but also we're fortunate to have the opportunity to do all these things as well.
Awesome. So wondering, if you here's a question. Here's my favorite question. You're going to get my favorite question. If
Okay.
you could go back to your early 20s, knowing everything you know now, what would you do different and what would you do the same?
Hmm. Being that I started in finance, I don't think I would change anything about the route that I took. I learned
Okay.
I learned a lot of critical people skills being in banking. Helping people, being proactive, reaching out when I saw a need. Um, you know, Being able to pick up a phone call and call literally anyone, businesses, current customers, um, scouring through prospecting lists and finding opportunities and reaching out to those people about those things. I learned all of that through my banking tenure. That's one thing that I don't think I would change. What I would change is I would have done this career sooner had I known that I would have been as successful up front as I would have. I think I waited till I was 31 to do this.
Really
Yeah, and I'm 37 now. So I would have done this probably at 27, 28,
nice.
when I just gotten married, didn't have kids to worry about. Like I
Yeah,
probably would have still been as motivated, but when you have, 2 or 3 mouths to feed versus just
right.
one, you have a lot more intrinsic motivation to be successful.
I agree with you 1000%. I was blessed to start my business before we got married, and then the pressure's on as soon as the kids come, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's your pants are on fire from day one.
Exactly.
And you have to have a game plan before you get into it as well. You can't just go in blindly and think you're going to figure it out. It's just not that. I mean, you're a business owner as a financial advisor. You have to, God, create a business plan and figure out what you're going to do, 1, 3, 5, 7 year plan and stick to it.
Gotcha. I agree. I absolutely agree. Sounds like things are going pretty well for you. Thinking about the future or in the past, have you ever created passive income where it doesn't require so much hands-on work?
Yeah, I have. I've owned rental properties before. I have since sold them off when they were, my values, my properties doubled. And so I took advantage of that. I'm glad I did it at the time because the house I moved into was a 30-year-old home and needed some pretty significant work. So passive income from that. Also, if current some investments that I have some dividends and interest that create passive income, but there's so many different vehicles out there to create passive income. And I'm a big proponent of that. I think it's one of the best annuities you can own. It does require some of these require more work than other pieces of passive income, but I really enjoy the idea.
Hmm. Someone said this a long time ago, and that's why I asked the question to every interviewer is if you don't learn how to create passive income, you'll be working the rest of your life. I was like, wow, that's powerful. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I think that's the main topic and principle of, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He's all about passive income and not working the rest of your life for your money, but like working inside of the business that provides you the cash flow that affords you and your family the lifestyle you have.
Agreed. Um, Wondering, what is one of the things? Is there has there been a one thing? Let's put it this way: Has there been a book or a podcast or one thing that really changed your outlook on business?
Well, there's actually several. So I have my own podcast. It's called Portfolio Pulse, the money podcast. You can find it on Apple and Spotify. I've interviewed hundreds of different entrepreneurs, medical professionals, dentists on there, and talked about the challenges of starting a business and what they learned along the way, and some triumphs they've had as well, and their lasting legacy in their community. So that's kind of my deal. And but the books that I've read that really changed the way I think about business. Number one is Built to Sell by John Warrillow. He's a Canadian guy that uses a story analogy of a media marketing agency guy that tried to be everything to everyone. And when he finally decided to niche down and he was able to hire more people and was good at one thing, and it made his business much more valuable. And so that's that one. The second one is called 10X is Easier Than 2X. It's by Dr. Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan of the Strategic Coach. Makes you think about your business differently, looking at your business from the 80/20 rule. And that's where 80% of what you do every day or the tasks that you do only create 20% of your revenue. It's the 20% of what you do or the 20% of your clientele that you're supposed to create about 80% of your revenue. So focusing on the
Right.
20% over the 80 and then delegating that 80% that's not as relevant or as useful in terms of revenue to others and pay them to do that. Spend your time wisely on what you do and also looking at things differently to 10X versus 2X. 10Xing is very difficult from a mindset perspective, but when you shift that mindset, it is easy. You're just getting rid of all the fluff that your business doesn't need to be involved in. And then the last one is called Who Not How. It is, again, by Dr. Hardy and Dan Sullivan. But it's figuring out the who you can involve in your process or strategy that can get things done in a much better pace and much more efficiently than you can. So hiring them on, delegating them to do that. Like I enjoy money. but I also don't mind paying money to save myself time. I'm going to hire a plumber. I'm going to hire an electrician. I'm going to hire these people who do these things every day because I will screw it up and I'll be back to Lowe's or Home Depot 6 times before I get the right tool. So I feel like change that mindset around just sacrificing some of the money for the time actually makes sense, but also finding the right partners to help you get things done is going to save you more time and make you more efficient.
Yeah, I like to say that I like to say what you said a little bit differently. The right tool is a different person for me.
Yes. Yep.
You know,
You're right.
you get that is pretty important. It really is great when you have somebody that really knows what they're doing. I build houses and build apartment complexes, and to get the right contractors is gold. They're worth gold.
And then you keep them on, right? And you pay them probably
You
better than everybody else would.
you know what I hate to say this is horrible, but here's one of the greatest gifts I give people when dealing with contractors. When you get a good contractor, pay him right then and there. I tell my contractors, I yell at them all the time. I say, finish so I can pay you. I hate owing you money. And they're like, oh, I'll get out tomorrow. Finish it today so I can pay you today. And then they're all right. And when you do that, they're comfortable with you and they never think about it. Whenever you call, everybody else goes to the wayside. You know what I'm talking about?
Correct. Yep. It's a good relationship that way.
It really is. Like when I was building houses, the guys that I was building houses with and for, I mean, my contractor said, hey, you want to go over and take care of that part of your house? Something fixed up later on after we moved in. I said, yeah, go over there. He goes, anybody over there? I go, no. I go, here's the code of my house. And like, you're giving me a code of your house? I go, dude, I did your house too. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna give you the code of my house. He goes, well, you're pretty trusting. I'm like, no, I know you. I know where you live.
Yeah, and I expect you to give me a key to put it underneath the flower pot,
Right, exactly. Put it back where you got it.
Yeah.
So one of the last questions, leading a team is challenging. What leadership style, and can you give any examples how it helped you through the tough spots?
Yeah, I really live by the you know, tell, show, and do. I would never ask anybody to do something I haven't already done before, and I just know that it's not as useful for me to do it personally. So I will show them how to do it. I'll tell them how to do it. I'll watch them do it once, and then basically give them the autonomy to complete that task and own it. I don't know if anyone here has heard of the Enterprise Operating System (EOS), but it's a strategic coach thing. But everybody on our team, we have these L10 meetings. So level 10 meetings means that we all get together, we go over our rocks, the things we have to get done this quarter. We also discuss who's going to own that specific to-do item or that specific task or that specific rock. And then we meet every 2 weeks just to check in on the progress and ask, what can we do to help you with accomplishing this? Or is there someone else we need to introduce into the ecosystem to help you accomplish these things? So we're very accountable for each other, not just to one person. And then we all offer help when it's needed, but we all complete our tasks. Like astonishingly, like we always ask for more. At least I do. What else can I do because I finished everything else? So we're more efficient, we're more timely. I think when you have that co-accountability environment and everybody feels responsible to each other versus one individual or one leader, it creates a much better culture. And that's what we've adopted over the past couple of years, and it's worked really well.
Awesome. Fantastic. Wondering, wrapping up the interview, what do you got exciting planned for the next 6 to 12 months?
I have some pretty lofty goals. We have some BHAGs. I'm
Explain the BHAG. I know what it is, but
yeah.
I want the audience to. When you say BHAG, somebody may not know what that is.
Yeah, it's called a big, hairy, audacious goal, something that's wildly out of this universe. But if you accomplish it, it's a stretch goal. And so we have our regular goal of a specific amount of assets that we manage and a specific amount of dentists that we want to help or business owners. So we're really honing in on that. We actually have a team planning meeting coming up in a couple of weeks. And we're going to share that vision with our team and get buy-in. My whole thing is just trying to be as useful as I can while I'm on this earth and leave a lasting legacy of being the guy or the team that helped change the way dentists look at dentistry. I can't do that from a clinical perspective, but if I can do that from a financial perspective, we want to be the premier planning firm for dentists in the country. And we'll get there one day. We only have a team of 6, but maybe we'll have a team of 25, 50, 100 at some point. And ultimately, I want to sell this business one day, whether it's to one of my kids or to my business partner or whatever. But that's how we're creating our lineage and our wealth and our legacy. And that's our big goal, is figuring that out over the next 6 to 12 months.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. I can't thank you enough. You gave, I call it Navy SEAL speak. You gave a lot of information in a short amount of time. Really do appreciate it. And if anybody would like to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
Well, depending on what you do, if you're a dentist, go check out bluewaterdentaladvisors.com. We serve dentists nationwide. And then I also have huskyfinancial.com. That's Huskey financial. My logo is actually a husky dog, so that confuses people, I think. But very vast learning centers in both of those websites, videos on both of them. You can find us there. And then, check me out there. You can book with me if you want to.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot for being on the podcast. I really do appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Michael. Thank you.
Hey, everybody else, like and subscribe and hit the notification button below. And I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. And thank you, Steve.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.